Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Pax Dei live stream. We're so excited to be running this event and showcasing the latest of the latest build of the game for the first time publicly. This is a huge. So happy to be sharing it with this amazing community. A little bit about me. I'm Olam, a community dev working on Pax Dei. You may have seen me or members of my team across Discord replying to your messages and answering questions. We'll be keeping an eye on chat during this event, so post all your questions and comments in the stage chat right there. Please drop any thoughts you have during the event. Joining me on stage is Solka, Chief Product Officer at Mainframe, and Peter, Lead Game Designer. Just before we get started today, just the parameters of how the event's running today. It's going to be about 30 minutes long, could go longer depending on questions and other things that we have in mind. We'll be showcasing the current build of the game. We'll do our best to answer questions, but our focus today is on showing you the game itself, as I'm sure many of you are eager to see. Solka and Peter, I'll hand over to you for any questions before we jump into Pax Day itself.
Sure.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. We're massively thankful for you joining us today for this first live stream of Pax Day. Super, super excited to show you what we've got so far and give you a glimpse into this build, which we'll be using for alpha.
Yep.
So,
Because we're as developers, like we've been working on this for years, and the best thing is to actually be able to show your creation to people, and so we can't get feedback unless people see what we're building, and the game we're making is all about actually like making this for the community. That's we're here. So very excited.
yeah. I mean, we're super aware there's no way for us to make a game of this scale and complexity uh, without the community, without like having a really good relationship with the community. So really happy to have you on this journey with us.
Right. So
All
let's
right,
jump into the game.
let's dive into it. So I hope everyone is seeing my stream. Is it working all right for everyone?
Yep. You can
You
turn
guys are
your
seeing
camera
it?
off as well.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, that will help things. All right. So the world we'll be looking at today is a world that's been inhabited by a lot of folks in our friends and family test recently, and it's currently ongoing. So all of the buildings that you see here are actually built by players from modular pieces, and we'll show you some of the building gameplay in a moment. But essentially, this whole village here has mostly been built by a single clan, so multiple people working together for thousands of hours and coming up with all kinds of ingenious ways of like building these buildings. Some of them are fully built, others are kind of still work in progress, and they're still kind of tinkering with it and kind of planning things. Planning the village basically. So they've done this, of course, both to kind of make their home in the world. And so they picked a site and like built the village here. So they're making their home, but they're also using these buildings to kind of organize all of their storage and setting up all of their crafting facilities for various like crafting items that they want to produce. And over time, we'll be adding more and more kind of functionality to the buildings as time goes on. But there's already plenty of ways to kind of build the structures that you want and decorate them and so forth.
Yeah, and we've been designing the game from the get-go to be something that really supports emergent gameplay. So we really want you to be able to do things that we never imagined before, and that bridge is a good example. I think we were very concerned that we need to build a bunch of bridges for people to be able to cross the waters, and actually it turns out the players are really good at building bridges. And given just we just gave them the tool that enables them to do that, and we're very happy about that.
Yeah. And now I'm just visiting a house of one of our players. This is just a caveat. This is not my building. I don't build things that are nearly as pretty as this. But I think it's a good example. And actually, if I equip my building hammer, I can show you kind of just to give you an idea of kind of the granularity of the pieces that the owner of this house used to build this. Um, you can see like he
Yep.
like lay down all the floors and yeah, built this very gorgeous home.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
also
there's a.
pretty,
I know this is the
decent
audience
finish.
question. There, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a question like, is this UE5? Yeah, we're using Unreal.
yeah,
Unreal 5 has this amazing lighting model that allows us to create these like gorgeous environments, and obviously like the art team working on this obviously knows how to use the tool, so this doesn't come out of the box like this, but they've been able to use all the tools that we're getting from Epic into making something that like just has this gorgeous lighting, whether you're inside the houses or outdoors.
Yeah, there's also, I think there's a couple of like smaller groups of players that have kind of built adjacent to the village. And actually, my clan, we decided to build out a small neighborhood just a little bit further down the river. So we're gonna go over there and
Mm.
show you some more gameplay.
Yeah. And hey, can you quickly give us a glimpse of the arena that seems to be built on the other side of
Oh yeah.
the river? Yeah. So here, the other thing that like so the art team that we have working on the team, like the game, they're always blowing my mind in like some of the detail that we have here. So if you see the stonework that is touching the water, it actually gets this effect on it where there's algae growing on the stone, that is applied based on like things being built into water, and like the I don't know where they come up with the ideas for actually like adding these little details that make the things you're building into the world seem to fit the environment better, but they just do this thing and it makes the game just gorgeous.
We've already got a few questions, specifically regarding player buildings. Snorty's asked, will there be structure maintenance to reduce the global amount of structures? Will structures degrade over time? For example, if that algae starts climbing up the walls?
We currently don't have plans to do that, no. But there are so many different things that you can kind of optimize your structures for that we've already seen, and we kind of expect that players will be continuously kind of tinkering with and like re-optimizing based on the needs of the, what the clan needs, or like people who join their village or small community. Um, so these buildings, at least we don't have any active plans to make them kind of deteriorate on their own. Uh, yeah, for mainly for those reasons.
A few other questions. Subaru Summer is asking if you can go swimming in the river.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Maybe I'll take a dip in a little bit. Um, so here is actually, this is what my clan is working on right now. So we're building some massive structures here. This is going to be kind of, our main kind of hub, and people are probably going to make their homes like adjacent to this. And in order to build something like this, you actually need to claim a piece of land as your own. And each player is able to claim a limited amount of land. And if I actually equip my hammer again, you can see kind of the outlines here of these plots that we've claimed. And you see there's a barrier between here. So this means that this is one player's plot, this is another player's plot. And just by virtue of placing them next to each other, they create this kind of linear border. And this allows players to kind of, if they trust each other, these are people who are working together, these are friends, they can kind of start sharing permissions with each other and build things that actually take more space than just like a single plot of land. So the village that we just saw earlier had some really massive buildings that are spanning multiple plots. Um, and so they're quite obviously like built by people who are kind of, who have some trust and are kind of working together.
Yeah.
So this building
Yeah.
right
And
here, for instance, is spanning a couple of plots.
mm. And that that combining of the plots and play together is another. It's a good example of us really wanting to create an environment where we strongly incentivize you to cooperate with other people. So this is really made for people who love playing in the clans, and the so you get the larger villages, you get a lot more area of land, and with the building pieces, the other thing is we're seeing a lot of folks start to specialize in different roles. So to make those stone pillars, you need stone, like you need wood and you need clay. You might have somebody specialize in being the builder, and like other people helping gather the materials needed to make these buildings. And Peter, you want to
Peter,
show us a bit of more?
Yeah, I was going to show you a
sorry,
bit of building. Yeah, go ahead.
there's just a few people asking about the size of a plot. Could we get a kind of bigger view of what a plot looks like?
Yes, I'll actually place my plot in a little bit on the other side of the neighborhood.
Brilliant.
First, I'm just going to show you a little bit of the building. So just a caveat, I am cheating myself resources right now, just so I don't have to collect them. So, but
Arrest
yeah,
that
you can
dev.
see the recipe there in the top right corner. So I need a bunch of different components that I can build from some common resources to make these things. Um, I need clay to make bricks, and I need wood to make different wood components and so forth. And then I can also go ahead and like decorate my house. I'm just gonna pick some flower pots here, put them underneath the windows, like so.
And again,
I'll actually
uh,
build a bit more while we take some more questions. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, and with Unreal, basically all the lighting in the entire game is dynamic. So the buildings you're building here, like they cast shadows, and like you can actually see light shafts coming in through the windows as you're making them. So there's no baked lighting whatsoever, and it just makes the buildings really feel like they're part of the world.
I'm sure my
There's
clan
a
are good.
question.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, there's a question I'd like to go back to about the user interface actually, because we can see there's a number of buttons, and when you equip that hammer, it went into a slot. But I think it's worth saying what those buttons are. Are they skills, abilities? Are they just items?
Those are items, so you can see my inventory here. It's actually filled with a bunch of materials, and the hotbar here is just an extension of my inventory. So when I'm activating the items here, I'm equipping them. So here I have my combat axe, and here's my kind of stone axe, so forth.
Yeah,
Velfern asked if they could build these buildings anywhere on the map, like anywhere they're seeing sort of in the distance as well. I guess we'll get onto that with the plots in a second.
Yeah, Sulka will also show you the kind of the map in a little bit, and so we'll give you a bit more context for that. But essentially, yes, you can build them mostly anywhere. At least there's huge amount of land where you can can claim these plots. And it is important to kind of note that these plots, like plot of lands where you're actually building, you're actually weaving the fabric of like the sandbox itself. Like you're making your server different from any other server because um, these are the same lands that people are like traveling to hunt and trade. So this village that we just saw earlier might become like the main trading hub in a huge province just because they've, you know, they produce a lot of goods and they're really successful at trading. So you're really shaping the sandbox when you're building the buildings here. All right, so now I've just kind of traveled through the building that we are building right now. I am sure that like a lot of like some of this building here and like adjacent buildings are going to be dedicated to different kinds of professions. I'm sure we'll want to build like, you know, you know, a very impressive blacksmithy with multiple smelters and furnaces and so forth, and maybe another dedicated spot for like leatherworking and like, you know, processing deer hides and so forth. But right now we just set up shop here for like to get all the fundamentals going. On this side over here, we can see Nordex there is making. I think that's I can't see what bench this is, but yeah, people are working away here, like making coal, producing goods. All of the gear, all of the items that you use in the game are made by players. So whether it be armor, you know, hats, jewelry, weapons, all the tools and wieldables, they're all made by players. And they're made by players from materials and rare ingredients and like rare loot drops that you find out in the wilderness and in dungeons. So like having a diverse set of like very specialist crafters is really important for a group that wants to be able to kind of, you know, progress in the game and dabble in different things.
Yeah, there's two questions on this. One I'd like to go back to when you were building. Someone noticed that the color was different depending on where you put the hammer. It was
Oh
green
yes,
or
yeah,
so. What did that represent? Was that
that
they're
is
curious about
integrity.
that.
So it's the structural integrity of the building. So you see that the floors and these walls here are green. It just means that they are very sound, like they're as strong as they can be. This one is kind of light green. That means that it's still very stable, but it's starting to lose some of its integrity because it's built up vertically. So it's inheriting some of the integrity of the building pieces below. That's what that means.
Brilliant. And someone else, I think, asked if it would be possible, as we were just talking about crafting, how easy would it be for one player to be able to do everything that we just saw there with
Right.
yeah, with everyone crafting at the same time?
So the so the game is fully skill based. You advance your character skills, you know, at your own liking. So when you create a character, you're not locked into any kind of, you know, whether it be like a combat class, like a warrior or a cleric or something like that, or into the professions. It's all kind of open, so you can master everything in theory, but you just need a lot of materials, and you need a lot of time invested in like all of these different activities to be able to do everything on your own. So while the game certainly caters to players who want to mainly just like progress by themselves and like play alone, but we just think it adds so much value that they're doing it in the context of all, the entire population on the server. So you might be somebody who would want to like kind of live on their own as a hermit somewhere in the wood, and like I mean that in a very positive way. Like you might want to you might want to be the hunter who lives in the woods, and you provide meat and skins, and you also do some blacksmithing, but you're probably going to be trading with people who live in the village. Some people might come and visit you to buy goods that you're providing. And of course, yes, you could try and do everything, but it just takes a lot of effort, and also just a lot of space, because some of those buildings take you need to set up all of the different um, establishments and like kind of crafting facilities to do everything. So definitely be a lot harder to work alone, but you can do it.
Hmm. Yeah, and like I said, a question basically on the economy. As Peter said earlier, like everything is made by the players. We're allowing people to trade. So this game is going to be fully player driven in terms of the economy. It's going to be you're going to be in control. You're going to be cooperating with people. If you're really good at producing something, you're probably going to be making like selling that or like helping other people like make those things. So yeah, again, we're making an environment where cooperating or like working with other players is going to be the key and drive the entire game.
So I am at a place now where I actually want to place my plot because I haven't made use of it yet. Um, so you can see when I'm in this mode here with my hammer, I get this bird's eye view where I can see like exactly what amount of land I can claim. Um, so I can either go somewhere and claim, a circular plot like this, or I can try and claim a plot of land that is next to somebody else. And just like I said earlier, just if you look at the other plots that the clan already has, like before I drag my plot over here, they're slightly smaller. So the other, like both of the plots that kind of touch extend a little bit to make the this kind of connected area between them. So it's like a soft incentive for people to actually build something together. So now I placed it. I can also release it again and move it somewhere else if I want to, but I'm going to place it and give my clan privileges so they can all now like build here and set up shop.
Brilliant. Just on plots themselves. So, would this be instance, for example? Could someone from the surrounding village come to this house and kind of see it being built as it is currently?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we're building inside the sandbox that everyone else lives in, so um, the house here and everything inside it is the kind of is open for visitors. People can come and visit, but there are also, we also have some permissioning on some of the interactables, like some of the crafters and crafting tables and like the smelter. We don't want people to come and like steal the goods that we're producing, and also the chests. They're also locked, but we can share them with our friends and clanmates. But yeah, I was just visiting somebody else's house earlier, for instance, and of course they had a lot of chests in there that I couldn't steal from. They were locked.
You didn't even try.
I didn't even try. Also because I'm good, at least in public.
Okay, cool.
Right.
There's a few more questions, or we could move over.
Yeah, we could maybe answer a couple more questions and then switch to Sulka. Up to you.
Cool. So we're seeing a lot of people asking about the economy and currency and money and things like that. Where do we stand at the moment in
Hmm.
this build?
For the in-game economy, we don't have it enabled at the moment. So like but there's going to be gold coins that you can find and use them for trading. But they will coincide with some other features that we're going to introduce very soon. But it's not in this build yet. Um, yeah, that includes like
Uh,
tools for players to basically set up markets to trade. So yeah,
So I
I
think
think
we're
a
all
lot of
waiting for
people
you to shoot.
yeah. I'm gonna embarrass myself here. I just missed the first one. Now I
He's no
overshot.
he's no Robin Hood, people. But
No.
players have noticed. People in chat have noticed the road as well. So is that something players built, or what is that road exactly?
These roads here were laid by previous civilizations that have fallen in the world. So they're pre-existing and can be found in the world. So these were not laid by players, no.
But we also have noticed the building blocks obviously allow people to also make roads in the villages, and we're seeing that happen as well. And I think we'll probably want to make that system more robust in the future, because it seems that
Yeah,
there's a
the way
lot of
play
desire to actually make roads.
absolutely. The way players are laying down roads right now, like, is definitely functional and actually looks quite good. But we haven't added those like specific building blocks yet. But we're working on them
Yeah.
soon
Yeah,
enough.
people ask about the in-game sound. So there is, I think I'm not sure if you're not streaming or like did we tone down the music, like the audio on the game quite low. But there definitely is audio on the game. Like there's both music and VFX or like the SFX
Yeah,
on the.
yeah. Hopefully we'll hear them in your stream.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, and I guess lots of questions regarding the PC specs. We don't have the finalized yet. Sorry about that. We're still like as people have been saying in the chat, like we're still optimizing this. We do want the game to be running on lower spec that you would expect this kind of graphics to actually run. So this is not going to require the very latest NVIDIA, although like of course if you have the latest card, it's going to run more possibly than on the slower specs. Um, but yeah, like this is something that we're actively working on and actually testing across different PC specs right now to come up with the final list.
Oh, someone's asking if we can see the inventory UI again.
Let's maybe hand it over to Sulka. I know
Yep,
you
I can show you some of
you
that.
had some plans to show that. Yeah. So I'll stop my stream and you take over.
Yep. All right. Cool. Hey, so welcome. So I have a different character here. I've been playing the game for some time, so actually I have some gear, and I can show you the inventory a little. So basically, here's the main grid of things I have in my inventory, but there's also the view to equip things on my character. And we have a system that allows you to work quite a lot, and mix and match everything freely. So different pieces of armor, like different pieces like clothing, jewelry, and buildables. You can basically what you find, uh, some of it is going to be purely decorative, but there's going to be a lot of items that actually do affect the capabilities of your character in the combat. And actually in PvE and PvP, while the game itself is classless, so there's no classes, it's skill based. The gear that you're wearing is going to have a fundamental effect on your capabilities in the combat. And this also includes the foods that you're eating, the potions you're carrying. So the consumables and gear together effectively form the class that you are performing at any given point. And there's going to be like once you start adventuring the world and going into like some locations that give you the loot drops that the Peter was talking about, you will be able to manufacture gear that gives you capabilities that you don't have as a new player. And I guess I could show you like basically like I could put on this plate armor and like get a bit different look. And the thing here is the art team's been doing an amazing job at putting like this incredible level of detail into everything that you're crafting and making and pouring. So expect basically to be blown away by the craftables. This is on a level of detail that you typically don't see in games. And we're still only now getting started. We're working on a like patch to the game that actually adds a lot of gear um in the near future. Um, and like I guess let's look at the world a little. So we're currently location of the world that we were in here is called Ardennes, and this is one of the what we've been calling the heartlands. And the heartlands is effectively a valley that allows the players to be like, building the villages. And like what, so when you create a new character, your character is going to be appearing in one of these heartlands. And like on my map, it's basically like it's an area inside of the red border. If we zoom out a little, this is a map of a single province. Uh, and each one of the provinces that we have in the game is about like roughly 100 square kilometers, of which maybe 80-ish is playable area. And each one of the provinces has 6 of these heartlands that are like interconnected, and you can like walk around in this whole area. And you can walk between the provinces, so there's gateways between the provinces, so the entire like 4 times 80 square kilometers, so basically around 350
Yeah.
square kilometers world, that's all playable. You can be able to access all of it, and there's areas that you will want to visit in all of them. So this is a massive, massive world for you to explore. And each one of the icons here on the map is basically a PvE site of different descriptions. So there's a lot of places that for you to go to, including some of them leading to dungeons. So there's like people have been asking about PvE. There's a bunch of PvE here, even though this build doesn't necessarily focus on the PvE. But if you're into actually like leveling up and or like the developing the character and like getting better gear and like being able to go to um like PvE adventures that are enabled by you progressing, that totally is part of the game as well. And we want to be very deep on that.
Solka, 2 questions on the map and the scale of the world. First of all, a lot of people asking about transportation. As you said, that's a huge world. Is there transportation at the moment for helping people get around?
Nope. Right now, it's you're gonna have to do a long walk. And actually, it's funny. I was talking to one of the developer team members, and like he made a character like randomly in place, and like started like making his home, and then most of the dev team actually made a village in another part of the world, and it took him 6 hours to walk from his home to the village that we're building. So there's going to be like considerable amount of walking to be done if you want to explore everything. But we absolutely do want to add features there as well. Um, I guess we'll talk about that a bit later, before too long. But yeah, and if you look at the map, actually, the like it's difficult to get the like idea of the scale really just looking at the map. So let's take a peek in the world. So here, I'm looking at a castle. This is actually player built. So few crazy folks they've been building this castle on top of the mountain, and it's taken them a lot of effort to do that because the amount of time it's taken them to ferry actually the building materials on top of that mountain has been pretty huge. So like massive respect to the people who had the patience to do that, but they produced something that looks pretty amazing. And if we start walking to the other direction, the again, you can see the actual like this is just I'm basically only seeing in within the one heartland that I just showed on the map. So and like each one of these locations, everything you see here is actually accessible for you to walk into and see. So the world really is huge. And once we get to the ledge, once we get to the ledge, you can actually see the village that Pietro was just looking into. So the other thing that like in addition to the world being gorgeous and the team doing an amazing effort at that, our like tech folks have been like I don't know how they do this. The rendering distances to which we can show the world are amazing. So if you're building a village, you can actually literally go up the mountain that you're building next to, like see, like look down into the village and see everything you built at long distances. And this also means that when you're exploring and you bump onto things that other people have been making, you can see those to long distance. And this is something like unlike any game what has done it before. And like actually the one other thing I was thinking of pointing out, like the ruin that you see on the top of the castle or like the top of the mountain, that's one of the PvE locations that you see as a ruin on the map. So you're going to be seeing those to quite long distances as well. So if you see an interesting thing in a hard to access location, that might be a tip for you to go visit somewhere. And is there questions regarding this?
There are plenty of questions. So chat has turned quite sadistic. Unfortunately, everyone is saying jump and talking about fall damage. So yeah, just to be clear on the dangers of fall damage, specifically, that's why Solka wasn't running towards the edge of the cliff because. Well, I'll let you explain, but how much fall damage is there? How dangerous is exploring sometimes if you, especially up high like this?
Uh, there is
Yeah.
fall damage. Yes, I would not recommend jumping down.
Can be very, very lethal.
And should someone take a little stumble and unfortunately die, what happens to all their items and gear at the moment?
Yeah, if you die, it's the same as if you die in combat or any other situation. Your corpse is going to be left there lying for you to come and retrieve it. So you will spawn at some not too distant location, and you'll have to make your way back to get your stuff. Or worst case scenario, just craft more things, or have some spare stuff in your house.
Yeah, that came up before as well, and it'd be a good point to make. So, does gear last forever? How durable is gear? And
In this
yeah,
in this
longevity.
in this alpha build, we haven't enabled the durability yet on gear, but that's fully intent. Gear will basically not last forever. You will need to repair it, and ultimately, once you've repaired it enough times, it will break. So it will eventually always leave the game.
Yeah, and I think Sarah's is saying, do our items disappear after some time? If left on the floor, I believe they do vanish after a set amount of time.
Yeah, as it stands right now, like you need to put things in proper storage if you want to leave them out in the world. Otherwise, they will poof.
There are a few questions about provinces in the world itself as well. So, how many, with the current build we've got, how many heartlands and provinces are there? And can people choose how they get into the world, like where they start off, or is it kind of randomly assigned?
So there's 4 provinces. Each one has 6 heartlands. And yes, when you make a new character, unless the population of a single heartland is full, you can choose that. So you're completely free to choose where you start. And the current assumption is that the population that we're shooting for one of these worlds is around 7,000 people. That's simply still something that we're finalizing right now, and I think we're probably going to be growing the world to be bigger eventually.
Yeah.
So the actual shard size is going to be even bigger than that sometime in the future. But yeah, but like right now, a full province or a full world copy shard is going to be about 7,000 people.
It might be good to clarify also that like even though a heartland that is full just means that it has met its like maximum quota of like plots that can be claimed. But so even if you start somewhere else, you can always visit a heartland that you couldn't start in already, just because it was filled up with like claimed land. So you can
Yep.
always travel everywhere, even though some heartlands have been filled up with the maximum amount of kind of homesteaders in that place.
Yep. And people asking again, like, yes, the provinces are connected. You will be able to like travel the entire world. There's no
Yeah,
limitations to
they're
that.
all interconnected.
All right.
Um,
Is that it or?
there's a few things that we haven't been able to show. So obviously people are asking about the full damage and dying and losing your items. So could another player just come along and take your items? And I guess that kind of leads into PvP itself as well, which we'll go into in a bit more
Hmm.
detail. Um, but yeah, I think players are curious to hear about what happens. Like, if you fell off that cliff, could Peter just run by and steal all your stuff?
No, I could not. We'll talk about PvP at a later point. Uh, but by default, no. If you die somewhere and your stuff is left on your corpse, either from falling or dying in PvE, your stuff is still safe there for you to retrieve it.
Being dangerously
They
close to
really
that
want
edge.
you to jump.
Yeah, I
I,
know. I actually
it,
might have God mode on, so like I'm not sure if I'm gonna die. Should we check?
Good check.
Yeah,
If
let's
they
do that.
really want you to die, you could also just drown. I don't think God mode saves you from drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's fine, folks.
Don't try that at home.
Yeah.
uh,
All right. So hey, let's show something else. I'll stop streaming on my end.
yeah, we're not done,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we're not quite done yet. All right. So one more thing. Alpha's coming. So we're calling this alpha the home valley. I still recommend that you go to Playback State to sign up. And let's talk about the reason why. If you go to the next slide. Whoop, yeah. So we are doing the first alpha test. This is going to be mostly focused on the type of gameplay that we. Oh, let's turn the camera on. The gameplay that we discussed here. So like exploring the world, collecting resources, crafting, building a home. As I said, the PVE progression is there. We have dungeons. They're huge. You can get lost in them. Spire couldn't be here today because he's lost in the dungeon again. Um, and the only one thing that really is disabled is PvP. It's just not ready for public consumption. I'm very sorry about that. We just couldn't do that now. But it's coming. Like we definitely do want to have PvP in the game, and we want that to be something that people will enjoy. So let's talk about when alpha when the it's gonna open next Tuesday. We're gonna fill an entire shard. So this is gonna be thousands of people. Sadly, I'm sorry. There's a lot more you who want to participate, so we can't possibly fit everybody in. But we are still like open to people signing up. So we're gonna be the randomization who gets to participate is going to happen at the very last minute. So it's still possible to go to Playpax Day and um, like sign up. I would recommend you put in the friend code. That is beneficial. Please do that. There's gonna be more information in the Discord. And the super excited. Like as I said in the beginning, we've been working on this for years. Getting feedback from people is and like being able to allow you to play the game is that is the dream of developers working on something. And yeah, very excited and thrilled and kind of scared about this whole thing, but this is awesome.
Yeah, the build you're going to be playing is exactly the one that we just showed you. This is the final build for this Tuesday.
Brilliant, yeah. So we still have some time for some further questions or anything like that at this moment. Obviously, there's a lot of information to absorb here. We're going to have full posts, more information about all of this, what's going to be included, specifics, all of that's still coming. But for the time being, oh yeah, players are asking, what will they be able to share from this alpha?
Right, okay, so the NDA is going to be lifted. So starting next Tuesday, if you get into the game, you're free to stream to your heart's content and take screenshots, take videos, post whatever. Um, we're very happy about the game. It looks gorgeous. We want you to have like fun time with it and like tell everybody about it. So there's no NDA.
From next Tuesday specifically, yeah.
Starting next Tuesday. Yep.
But in the lead up to that, there'll be more information being circulated from what we can share right now. We want people to be ready and prepared. The best advice we can give you is to sign up on Playpax Day, enter a friend code if you can, and link your account to Discord for all the latest updates as well. So I think there's a few questions coming through about the file size and things like that. Things like that will be in all the communications that we send out and going forward. On the selection process for who gets access, I think you said that will be raffled at the very last moment.
Yeah, it's raffled. I think the friend codes has some probability increase in the like this is made for groups. We want groups to play. But there's no big selection criteria that we're applying to this. It's mostly just raffle.
King noticed during the demo that we didn't touch the spell category in the inventory. Yeah, is there a reason for that, and where is that system in this build?
There is a handful of spells that you can access in the game at the moment. They are There's more incoming. We talked about, like we are kind of hard at work working on kind of combat and item progression, and especially like spells and special abilities. So we're fully aware that like some of the spells that are currently in the game are underwhelming. It's not the focus of the test at the moment, but they're there. You can might
Yep.
find some, but we'll talk
Yes,
a lot
and
more about spells and combat in the kind of
yep.
coming
and
weeks and months.
the spells, I guess like as I implied earlier, like they're going to be a lot about the gear that you craft. So if you want to be a spellcaster, actually, like it's going to be like the things you wear, the things you wield are going to be the ones that actually affect the spells that you'll be able to cast.
Fairy is asking if we get to see a dungeon sulker. I think you touched on that in that it's going to exist in the alpha. But the
So
systems in
yeah,
place aren't. Yeah.
so you'll be like you'll be able to go into dungeons. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people streaming from behind like for what actually who get to play. So there's going to be you'll be able to see the dungeons very soon. We're not going to be showing them today. And I guess the first quest for people is going to be able to find where the dungeons are.
In that huge
There are
world we
many.
just saw.
We promise.
Yeah.
You have to find them.
There's a few other questions. Seeing as clans are going to be so important in arranging and setting up settlements, what kind of options are there for clan administration and organization? We didn't really go through it in the demo, but
So
in terms of
yeah,
applying
so
for a clan.
yeah, so in the game there's a basically you can create the clan. There's a clan finder interface, so you can join a clan. You probably want to talk to people that you meet in the world because you will want to be building villages together. Um, so yeah, so absolutely, clans are important. There's tools in the game for that.
Great. Obviously, people are very curious about. I know this is the very next step we're going to, but after this alpha, uh, is there a plan going forward for more alphas? I guess it's kind of too early to tell right now, right? We're just about to go into this big
Yeah,
test.
yeah. Let's do this first. So obviously during the alpha, like we're gonna be like looking what you do, like super curious to get all the feedback, and that's gonna inform the what we do in the future. Um, so like I'm hoping all goes well. Might be that obviously like we're fully expecting that you're gonna be finding bugs that we need to fix. That's part of the why we're doing this. We'll also be looking at the performance of the people who play this, like in terms of the hardware requirements. So this is all about us learning what you like about the game and like how it works, what we need to improve. And like once we have all of that data, then we're gonna be making decisions over like how quickly we can actually like do the next test.
And I think one of the final questions people keep asking about fishing as obviously a preoccupation. Um, is that in the build currently?
Yeah, no, I'm
Not yet.
sorry. Like it's my favorite thing. I'm an explorer fisher when I play MMOs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
everyone's favorite thing. It's one day.
yeah,
There's a lot of rivers and like open bodies of water that are just like screaming for us to implement fishing. It
yeah.
will be there, but it's not there yet.
Brilliant. Great. Well, like I say, there's going to be a lot more information coming in the next few days, so please keep an eye on Discord for all the latest updates. For now, the advice is to sign up on playpaxday.com and opt into the alpha before November the 12th. There'll be a lot more details coming soon, as I said. But I think it just falls to us to say thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're excited by what you showed you. We're certainly excited about what's coming next. It's such an amazing community. We're so happy to have you all here with us. And yeah, have a
Yeah.
great weekend, everyone. Peter Silker, any closing thoughts or remarks?
Just super thrilling and awesome to actually be able to do this. So thank you all.
Yeah, just echoing what you guys said. Just all the thanks in the world for joining us today, and can't wait to see what you do in Pax Day.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone.
Oh,
Have a great weekend.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.